Hi, can you all see? Hi everybody, I'm Jermaine. So I created this website, ketofoods.info. I was looking for a way to find low-carb foods very quickly, but I couldn't find a site that did it really well, so I created my own. The site makes use of the mobile detection function in WordPress. It's integrated with an external API, and it also makes use of what's called the rewrite API.
What is the
Mobile detection? So I'll show it to you. So as you can see, are you familiar with responsive design?
Oh, yes.
So if you see on the desktop, you see a big long sentence, a big search bar, you see these blue links down here. But on the mobile, you see a drop down, you see a short bar, and you see a shorter sentence. So I used a function called WP is mobile. So on home.php, you can use this function if you want to completely change how the website works on mobile browsers. It's called WP is mobile. So if it's mobile, it shows the shorter sentence. If it's not mobile, if else, it just shows that big long sentence.
So you have to program all those in these cases?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is so that you don't have to do media queries and CSS?
No, you don't have to. It's one option. Also, use WP Mobile again to create this dropdown. So this dropdown is actually a jQuery script, a custom jQuery script. And so when you arrive on the site, I use WP Mobile again. I use what's called an action hook. This action hook adds a JavaScript code to the footer. And then whenever you come to the site on mobile, it activates that JavaScript and it creates this dropdown. Now how this dropdown works, takes those blue hyperlinks and condenses them into a menu. And so when I click on this menu, it redirects to that page. So this is more mobile friendly. Besides just, if I kept it this way, I would have had to scroll all the way down. This way, I keep the screen short, it keeps it clean, and it increases the mobile friendliness of your site. Now this website is connected to an API called the Fat Secrets API. You can query it to get nutrition information about foods. And what this does, takes a search term, sends it to the API, I get the results back from the API and I display it. So here, I gutted out on the search results page, I gutted out all the WordPress loop, all the WordPress functionality, and I put my own. So on search.php, I set up the code to send to the API. So uses a OAuth, what's called an OAuth authentication, and I use a base 64 encoding, creates an OAuth signature, which is included to the end of this big URL string that's concatenated together. Send that to the API, use file get contents to get the response back from the API. Then I use simple XML to load it into a PHP object. And then from here, after I gut out all the WordPress loops, I simply use all the WordPress HTML. By the way, this is 2017 default theme, so I just hacked it. So I do my own thing, shows custom HTML. This is what you get. This whole search result screen. And so what I do is get the nutrition data. I filter it out by certain nutritional values, which is carbs has to be 10% of calories. So, and these are clickable. Now these pages don't exist. They look like individual blog posts, but they're 100% dynamic. So when I'm clicking on here, I'm actually clicking on one blog post. However, what's happening is, if you see this number, this is the entire URL /food/number. This number uses the rewrite API. The rewrite API is taking out this number specifically, sending this to the API to get the food item, gets the data back from that food item, and I display more nutrition facts. This is custom CSS, by the way. Made it look like a nutrition label.
Looks great.
So what I get back from the API is the same thing in the search results. I get the brand, I get the title, I get the nutrition. But the actual title for that page is food item, and this is the actual content. What's happening is I'm using a filter to override this title and to override this content. So the title that I override is whatever the name of the food item is. If you look at the title here, the title of the page, baby food, are you able to see? So baby food, meat, macronutrition, facts, blah, blah, blah. So that's actually a filter I'm taking from the API, using that to override WordPress. And the content, here's the content, it's overriding what's here. So it's able to create a dynamic page with dynamic content, and it's fully integrated with the API. Now you can use the rewrite API to create your own URL structure, 100%. So if you're doing one project I did for my company, they were shutting down some websites. Our team decided to keep those websites active, but I had to do extensive hacking to WordPress to keep the URL structure. So the rewrite API can be used in that instance. Now it does require a lot of PHP knowledge because there is almost zero documentation for this API, because no one ever messes with it. No one really has any reason to.
The API rewrite?
It's called the rewrite API.
And it exists out there?
It's in the WordPress docs, but there is no examples for it. You have to go into the code of the core in order to figure it out. That's what I had to do. And I learned even more about WordPress.
How did you find out about this?
I had to. I just did.
It's like kind of a secret Easter egg inside of WordPress.
It is.
Very cool. Thank you.